Alright guys, welcome to the new medical office classroom. All these lectures are now going to be online. That way you can go back, you can look at them, you can rewatch them as much as you want, and you can work at your own pace as well. So this begins the administrative medical assisting part of the class. You've gone through, you've done your credential, you've got your Microsoft Office specialist. Congratulations, nice job. But now we're going to get started into the real in-depth stuff pertaining to the medical office. Now all these PowerPoints come out of the KINS Administrative Medical Assistant book, which you guys all have access to. We have copies in the classroom for you, and it goes chapter by chapter throughout. So I'm going to give you a brief overview of the chapter and the information in the chapter. You really should look through the chapter, read it, understand it, and know what's in it as well. So the first chapter we're going to talk about is the competency-based education and the medical assistant student, and that's you guys. Okay, so just a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about throughout this PowerPoint presentation is we're going to be able to define, spell, and pronounce the terms listed in the vocabulary. We should be able to discuss competency-based education and adult learners. We're going to summarize the importance of student profiles and proving academic successes and skill competency. We're going to examine learning preferences and interpret how your learning style affects your success as a student. So we're really going to break down being successful in this class throughout this first chapter. We're going to be able to differentiate between adaptive and non-adaptive coping mechanisms. We're going to apply time management strategies to make the most out of your learning opportunities. We're going to integrate effective study skills into your daily activities, and then design test-taking strategies to help you take charge of your success. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff this first chapter, guys. So we're going to incorporate critical thinking and reflection to help you make mental connections as you learn the material. We're going to analyze healthcare results as reported in graphs and tables. We're going to apply problem-solving techniques to manage your conflict and to overcome your barriers to your success. And we're going to be able to relate assertiveness, aggressiveness, and passive behaviors to professional communication and discuss the role of assertiveness in effective communication. So we're really covering a large genre of stuff with this first chapter. Okay, but let's start off with what is competency-based learning. So competency-based learning, so basically everybody learns in a different way, and everybody, especially us as adult learners, you guys come into the classroom, some of you might still be minors and 16, 17, 18 years old, and some of you maybe, 23, 24, maybe even 25. So we have a large variety of students here at Job Corps, and we all come into this place with different backgrounds, of different courses and different knowledge and different environments. So we all coming in at a different place. So basically competency-based education allows classes to be tailored to individual students' needs. And that's what we're doing here. Everybody has different needs, everybody has different desires and wants and successes, and hopefully we can tailor this course to be exactly what you want it to be. So competency-based education is ideal for adult learners, that's us, who are attempting to understand new information and achieve new skills. So adult learners learn materials at different rates. Okay, you might not learn the same as the person next to you. Okay, so we need to be able to adapt this content and to make it so that everybody is successful in this classroom. And basically this allows me to design laboratory assignments and different homework and assignments that you guys need to do to meet all your needs so that you really can understand and grasp all the concepts we're going to be talking about. So we're going to talk about portfolios. Now a portfolio basically is just a comprehensive it's a comprehensive portfolio that can be used to create an interview profile tailored to prove your competency in the field and in the skills outlined in a specific job description. Okay, so it's just basically a combination of everything. So when do you think you guys should start collecting information for your professional portfolio that we have for you? Well, honestly, it's the second you step on campus here. First day of class, you go to CPP2 or CPP1. I'm sorry, and you work your way all the way through CPP. You get into your trade, finish your academic needs, and then once you're ready to go, you have a big portfolio of all your accomplishments and goals that you've succeeded here. So items that can be included in this portfolio could be projects you've completed. Maybe you've done an assignment in this classroom that you're really proud of. You're really stoked. You put a lot of time and effort into that, and you want to show it off. That could go in there. Key procedural checklists, maybe some copies of your awards, certificates, and certifications, and then of course letters of recommendation as well. So it really wants to show you how employable that you really truly are after you leave this place. So in order to get all this stuff together and in order to be successful in the class and in the trade and in life in general and in the medical field, you need to understand what type of learner are you. So learning styles can be examined in many different ways, and determining your individual learning style and understanding how it applies to your learning, to you learning new material, are the first steps towards becoming a successful student. Okay, so first you must perceive the information. Okay, you have to take in what somebody's trying to teach you. Okay, some would like to watch the teacher or the instructor do that, such as you are right now watching me give this lecture. Observe and reflect, and those people are abstract perceivers. Okay, others will learn by doing. Okay, so they're concrete perceivers. They like to get their hands on, and they like just to go. Now, that's great. I tried to get both of those learners in this class. Okay, I tried to get the abstract perceivers by doing these lectures and talking. I like to get the concrete perceivers by giving you assignments and hands-on tasks and making you do something. Okay, so after you perceive the information, you then have to process it. Okay, so active processors jump in and start doing things immediately. Okay, they heard it, they got it, boom, they're gonna go. They're active processors. Reflective processors, on the other hand, have to think about the information that they just learned, maybe, and then relook at it and internalize it, and then go and do. So there's two different types of processors. All right. So just kind of think of that. Look at both of those two, and decide for yourself. What type of learner are you? Are you like an abstract perceiver but a reflective processor? Okay, it's just one of those things you really got to look into. So basically, there's 4 stages of learning style inventory. All right. There's basically 4 stages of learners. Stage 1 learners are concrete reflective styles. And basically, they want to know the purpose and have a personal connection with that content. All right. Stage 2 learners, they're more the abstract reflective style. And they're eager to learn just for the pure pleasure of learning. That's what they enjoy. They just like to learn new things. They like knowledge. Stage 3 learners, they're called abstract active style. And basically, they want to experience and test the information. So maybe that's more of a hands-on type of learning. And then you have concrete active style learnings. So concerned with how they can use what they learned and to make a difference in your lives. So if you were to ask me what type of learner I am, I would say I'm stage 4 learner. I'm a concrete active style learner. I want to learn this information and I want to use it and figure out how it's going to make a difference in my life, okay, and the lives of my students as well. That's the type of learner I am. So take a minute, just think about what type of learner you might be. So as a student, okay, you're going to be facing many different types of stresses, especially being, maybe you're from New York or New Jersey, Connecticut, and you come all the way up to northern Maine and you're having this new experience. You're going to have stresses that are in your way, okay? And stress is not always negative. Stress can be positive as well. We all respond different ways to stress, so you have to be aware of that, okay? Maybe you get anxious and anxiety and you need to take breaks, and more often you just have to understand how you react to stress, okay? Even if no symptoms of stress are evident, doesn't mean that there's no stress there. There's always going to be stress. And don't ignore signs and symptoms of stress. If something's becoming too much, let me know. Let your career counselor know. We'll help you through this process that you're going through. All right? Now, there's a couple different ways to cope with stress, or to deal with is another word for coping. So adaptive coping methods, or mechanisms, So these are strategies, and if you look on page 6 in your textbook, there's a blue box that has a bunch of different types of strategies to help you cope with stress. And if you feel anxious or uneasy, look at this and help yourself through it. Okay, but these are basically strategies used to reduce stress. For example, time management. Maybe you're creating calendars or schedules or reminders on your phone or something like that. And it basically helps you gain control over a stressful situation. It puts you in control of it, and it helps you manage that stress that way. And then you have non-adaptive coping mechanisms. These may actually increase your stress. For example, that could be like procrastination. So for example, this homework or this assignment is really stressing you out. You're just gonna take a break and do it later. Okay, that's procrastination. That might have a negative effect because it might put more stress on in the future. So if you just look at that box on page 6, you'll get a lot more ideas of different types of examples and things like that. So then there's time management skills. Okay, so one of the most complicated tasks for a professional medical assistant is to manage time effectively. And we have to have great time management skills because of all the different things that we're doing at once. We're scheduling patients, we're taking new patients in, we're checking out other patients, we're calling and making phone calls and talking to insurance companies and billing and coding and dealing with health insurance. So there's a ton of stuff that we're doing at once. So you have to have great time management skills here. So if you continue on page 6, and it says how to put your time aside. Look at that in there because this slide doesn't get it as good as you need to understand it. Look at page number 6, how to put time on your side, and just read down through that, but I'll go over this. So basically, time management gives you the opportunity to spend time in a way you choose and is crucial to your success, not only as a student, but as a future healthcare professional. So the first step is to determine your purpose. Why do I need to manage my time? Okay, identify your main concern, be organized, stop procrastinating, and remember you. Now, I'm not going to get into each one of those because I want you to do that research. Look at page 6, figure out what each and every one of those mean. So here's some more study skills for you, okay? And they're tricks to becoming a successful student. Different ways to help you manage and organize information into recognizable groups so that the brain can find it easily. So that's one way. That's a trick, okay? Maybe you create association for something you already know. That's something that I do a lot, okay? When I'm learning something new, I'll look at things that I know already and try to find a link between the two to help me bridge that gap of understanding. Be physically active while you're learning. Get your hands on things, okay? Build those skills up from the ground up. Maybe you're going to use a mnemonic device or a song or word association, okay? Maybe that's more beneficial for like a medical terminology, which you guys will be doing later on throughout the course. Teaching the information to somebody else, that's a great one because it makes you become a professional at the information you're teaching because you don't want to teach them something wrong. So these are all different types of memory techniques and active learning, brain tricks, reading methods, and note-taking skills are all different types of study skills that will help you become successful. Here's some more, all right? The first step is effective note-taking. The first step to effective note-taking is to become prepared to class. Luckily for you guys are all going to have binders here with note sheets in it for each chapter. You can go through, take your own notes. Use those, okay? Use those notes, take good notes, so that when you finish this course, you are going to take and pass that medical administrative assistant exam. No questions asked. You're going to have copies of the PowerPoint presentations in that binder as well. So use those, okay? Organize your notes and review them shortly after you watch these presentations. That will really help you. And then if you need to, you can even create mind maps. We'll talk about mind maps in just a second here. So perhaps the most important technique is your attitude toward learning. We can give you all these study skills and different types of techniques and things that we can do, but if your attitude toward learning is negative, you're going to have a negative outcome. Okay? Look at learning with a positive outlook. Okay? Look at it as gaining knowledge and gaining power. Okay, the more knowledge you have, the more successful and more powerful you can be. So recognize and if you do have this negative outlook on things, recognize your barriers. What's going on? What is preventing you from being successful and what is getting in the way from making you or helping you learn? Okay, recognize those barriers and then overcome them. Okay, if you recognize them, you just can't overcome them. Reach out to me. Reach out to me, your career counselor. Maybe your dorm, your RA. Just reach out to somebody that is willing to help you, and I know every staff member on the center is willing to help. So mind maps. Create those mind maps. Here we go. This is called a spider map, and it's just a way to help organize your thoughts on an idea. Okay, so you put your main idea in the center of this the spider map. So it's basically called. Let's say we're doing chapter 10 and we're doing scheduling. So maybe we put scheduling, the topic, in here, and then all these branches off are different forms of scheduling. So we have wave booking and stream booking and cluster booking and open office booking, okay? And then branching off of each of those are details about those ideas or those scheduling types. So that's just one way to organize it. Another way, which is very similar, they use diseases here, but you can use it for anything. It's called a fishbone map, and it's because it looks like a fishbone if they were all descaled and had no meat on them. Okay, this is what a fish would look like, and it's the same idea. You have your main idea at the head, and then your other main points are branching off of those with details stemming off of each one of those. Okay, so that's another one. And then you have a chain of events map, which is on the my left right here. Okay, and it says so first this happens, then this happens, and then that happens. That's a chain of events. And then you have your cycle map, which basically just illustrates that one action leads to this action, which leads to this action, and so on and so forth. So those two are fairly similar. They could be used if you have like procedures that you're trying to do and implement in the office. Those could be great tools for you there. Okay. So now let's talk about test-taking skills. Because after every chapter, you're going to have a test. You're going to have to be prepared for it. And at the end of the course, if you want to take your certified medical administrative exam, that's a big test as well. So you need to control your negative thoughts, especially if once you're getting to the chapter test and the certified medical administrative assistant exam. Control your negative thoughts. You've put in the work. You've learned the material. You know the stuff. Okay, just control your negative thoughts. Go into the test adequately prepared. Don't under-prepare by not studying, okay? But don't overstress yourself and over-prepare, okay? Use good time management skills. Maybe you're creating different study schedules or something along those lines. Make sure when you're in the test, you read the directions carefully. That's key. That's huge. Okay, you need to make sure you're reading and understanding exactly what they're asking. If possible, begin with the shortest and easiest questions and then work your way back through. With the certified medical administrative exam, it's not possible. You got to answer the question as it comes. But throughout the test of the course, you can do that. With multiple choice questions, identify keywords. The same thing with true-false questions. Those keywords could be like always, or never, or except. Okay, those are huge words when taking a test. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is becoming a critical thinker and making mental connections. All right. So critical thinking requires an open mind for you to consider every possibility. Part of being a successful student is being a critical thinker. Okay? Critical thinkers are inquisitive and they always analyze information. Okay, so this is what critical thinking involves. There's 4 steps. The first step you got to do is you got to sort out the conflicting information. What's going on? What is the dilemma? What are we facing here? What is the conflict? Okay? And what are the 2 sides? Then you got to weigh your own knowledge about that information. All right? How do I view each one of these? And then you need to let go of your personal biases. Okay, take myself out. What are the facts? What is it? And then deciding on a reasonable belief or action, make your decision. Okay? And then finally, the most crucial step to critical thinking is evaluating the results of your learning. So after you've done all your critical thinking and you've made your decision, take a time to reflect on that and see what the outcome was and see how it could have gone differently. You're gonna have to be able to read tables and graphs. All right, graphs will help you understand concepts much easier than reading a paragraph because it conceptualizes these ideas. It puts it into an image where you'll be able to read it. So use the information in tables and graphs to help prepare yourself to work as an entry-level medical assistant. You're gonna have to analyze information, and this is great. So a graph is basically a diagram or a picture that represents information and its relationships. So in order to understand the information in a graph, you have to read the title and the axes of the graph and determine the information included. Okay, after that, you should determine the general trend of the graph. Okay, is it kind of a steady incline? Is it all over the place? Okay, what is the trend of that graph? Okay, graphs can be useful in visualizing information that doesn't seem to fit. All right, you can really see different things with the graphs. So now we're going to talk about problem solving and conflict management. Okay, so learning how to manage your problems can be very useful for your practice as a medical assistant and for your success as a student. So the first step is to identify the central issue. Okay, ask yourself a series of questions to get to the root. What is the problem? Okay, then decide whether it is worth the effort to try to resolve it. Is this an issue that is going to have a long-term effect? Okay, is this something that I need to address? And if it is, prioritize your involvement. Make that like a priority number 1. And then you should brainstorm some solutions. Okay, go in with a pros and cons list. Okay, if I go this direction, I make this decision. These are the pros. These are the cons. If I go the other way, these are the pros. These are the cons. And then implement your chosen solution. Once you've looked at everything, you've evaluated the data. Make a choice. Okay, and then once that choice has been made, take some time to reflect and evaluate that outcome and to see what its risks are at the end of it here. Okay, so if these things happen in the office, okay, you're having an issue with another medical assistant or something along those lines. Okay, follow the chain of command to reach a reasonable resolution to the conflict. Okay, you always want to have this resolution done in private. Okay, it doesn't need to be anybody else's business. So there's no risk of overhearing. It's a private conversation. So if you're having a meeting with them, okay, clearly state your feelings on the conflict and how you would like that to be resolved, and try to come to an agreeable solution between the two of you. All right, use open and honest communication, and assertive communication is key. And we're going to talk about assertive communication here in a couple slides, so you can really understand what assertive communication is. That's what we want to have in the medical practice, is assertive communication. And then at the conclusion, again, follow up on your course of action. Okay? Whatever you decide, make sure it goes through, and we'll go from there. So here's the 3 types of communication. You have passive communication, you have aggressive communication, and you have assertive communication. Okay? So effective communication, regardless of which type it is essential in the office. Okay? So just think about which is going to be the most effective type of communication. Okay? Passive communication is consistently protects the interests of the other person over your own. Okay? You're really not sticking up for yourself. Whatever you want, just take it. Just have it your way. Okay? I'll just go with the flow. Okay? Aggressive communication is that you demand that your interests are met regardless of the other person's needs. Okay? So you want it your way. Okay? That's aggressive communication. And then assertive communication is you're trying to defend both your rights and those of the other individuals that is in this conflict as well. So assertive communication allows you to express your feelings and thoughts honestly. It enables you to stand up for yourself without making an emotional scene. And you have to learn this type of behavior. You have to learn how to be an assertive communicator. Okay? Passive and non-aggressive individuals, well, sometimes they'll feel hurt and when they are taken advantage of, or are anxious about dealing with the conflict. And then they'll start to internalize it if they're constantly not getting their way and things are going on. And then all of a sudden it's going to overflow and they're going to explode and it's going to all come out. So you don't want to be overly aggressive. You don't want to be overly passive. Okay? You want to have that assertive communication, getting both ends of the spectrum. So some ideas or some things that you'll see with passive behaviors, they'll keep their eyes downcast. They're really not looking at you in the eyes and having that conversation. They'll shift their weight when they're talking. They have a slumped posture and ringed hands. They'll use a whiny or hesitant voice. And they'll use terminology like maybe, would you mind it if this happened? Or it's not even that important, don't worry about it, that type of thing. That's passive behavior. Now the opposite of that is going to be that aggressive behavior where they're going to take their aggressions and they're going to show it to you. They're going to point at you. They're going to lean forward. They're going to raise their voice and sound arrogant. Okay? They could use terms like "you'd better" or "if you don't watch out" or "do it or else" or "you should do it this way." Okay? Aggressive individuals commonly exhibit these behaviors when dealing with conflict. So, just keep an eye out for those things. And we're almost done here, guys. And then there's some assertive actions. So we talked about passive, aggressive, now assertive. This is how we need to handle ourselves in the medical office, in this classroom as well. Okay, you need to have assertive actions. So be honest with yourself and others. Okay, just say it how it is. Okay, let others know how you feel about a situation professionally. You're not just gonna go off and F this, F that, and tell them how it is. Okay, let them know how you feel. Okay, speak clearly and more specific about the problem, and use I messages. Okay, I feel, I think, those type of things. Okay. So the goal of assertive behavior is basically to treat others with respect while acknowledging your own feelings about the problem. Okay? Now this takes practice, okay? But the more you practice and the more you use assertive behaviors, the more successful you're going to be. And that, guys, basically ends all of Chapter 1's PowerPoint presentation. Like I said, look into Chapter 1, read through it, understand the material, what's going on, and really learn it and educate yourself more. Okay? Because I want to reach out to you guys in all different aspects. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please relate them to me. I'll take care of anything that I can help you with. If you're all set then, you can get started on the assignment. Good luck, have fun.